everyone, welcome to this week. This will be a relatively short one. This is the whole chapter, chapter 23, instead of splitting it into two, because basically we just have some forms to learn, all right? Nothing new, sort of conceptual to learn, just some irregulars, some irregular verbs and regular noun. All right, so there we go, irregular verbs and an noun. All right. All right, so first and foremost, we have pharaoh. All right, so pharaoh, phara, and its other principal parts, as you probably saw in your book, tuli, latos. This is one of our funkiest verbs from a principal part standpoint, right? The first two make sense, and then the last two kind of come out of nowhere. All right, you can see here that in these forms, there is no characteristic vowel. That's one of the irregularities, that it just goes from consonant to consonant, which we know is a little bit wrong. It's not used in the passive often, but you can see that happens there and there in the passive as well. Other than that, it is pretty regular. It basically functions as a third conjugation verb. You can see here, ferry bom, ferry bos, ferry bot. Nothing irregular there. And the future is feram, feris, ferret, etc. So essentially the same as a third conjugation verb would do. All right, so really it's just irregular in the present, and it's irregular in its infinitive, and obviously its principal parts as well. The perfect and the perfect active and passive function the same way as any other verb, just using the perfect stem for the active and the fourth one's part for the passive. All right, it means to bear or to carry. All right, so down here we have eo, ira, and then iwi and itos. Sometimes it's itoris for the fourth principal part, and sometimes it's ii, no v, for the third principal part, but same difference. All right, and same idea. The present is irregular, so eo is it, imus itis eunt. All right, and then after that, things become pretty regular. Excuse me, with I as the stem. All right, and it means to go. All right, so for better or for worse, you just have to memorize those forms. There's no real trick to it. Obviously, focus on the more common ones. The third person, singular and plural, are by far the most common. All right, here's the future, as I was saying, of pharaoh, and then here is the future of eo down below, and at the upper right here, all right, you have the perfects done out. All right, perfect, pluperfect, and future perfect. All right, so here's a little exercise, just sort of practicing with them. All right, so mood and tense. Mood, of course, is indicative, subjunctive, infinitive, imperative, things like that. So this is my indicative. That's kind of my normal or declarative, and it's future. All right, from that, vi, and Aaron is indicative and pluperfect. All right, and I will let you do the rest. All right, now we're translating forms of AO. So we were going, and of course we're going because of the BA. All right, number two is I went. That's that EE principal part, third principal part, as opposed to iwi. All right, and I'll let you do the rest. All right, same thing for pharaoh here now. All right. I'm going to skip number one because it's similar to number one for AO. All right, ferry, this is a little tricky. That's the passive infinitive. So the mood is infinitive. Did I spell that right? Yes. All right. Oh, sorry about that. I assumed it was the same as the previous exercise. It is not. All right, so translate the form. All right, so that's going to be to be carried. Change its voice, so now it's going to become ferre. And then new translation, to carry. All right. So latisunt. All right. So that's the perfect passive. So I need to make the perfect active. So I got to use that funky third person part. So tulerunt, third person plural. All right. Oh, sorry about that. That goes there. The original translation is they were carried. All right, and then tulerunt is the new form, and then they carried is the translation of the new form. All right, I will leave the rest for you. All right, Oh, sorry. Shifting over to the irregular noun "wis." Apologies about that. Here it is in action. It's essentially a third declension noun that has some funky forms, and not all of its forms that kind of exist, at least in the texts that have survived. All right, so it means power. So power through truth. All right, and "wis" is just the nominative. All right, here's another nominative of it. "Vis unita fortior." All right, so united power, power together, is braver, and that's the motto of Stoke City, which is a soccer team, Premier League. And then Florida State just lists it, but you can see there is its nominative plural, along with two other nominative plurals, and you can see that its es ending is similar to the third declension, is the third declension plural. So strength, skills, arts, customs. All right, and that's the motto of. And then Bitcoin, so that was interesting. So vires in numeris, so power in numbers. All right, so a bit of a pun in Latin, which of course I like. But again, more important for our purposes, there's that nominative plural. All right, so let's take a look at this nominatives. Translating the sentences into English, I'll do a couple for you. All right, so remember to read right through the sentence, make some notes. Clamor sublato, hostes petivimus prima luce. All right, couple things to note. Clamor and sublato, both ablative. They go together. All right, hostes. Now I look at hostes and I think, oh, first noun, nominative ending, probably my subject. Problem is I have this mus ending on the verb, which means that hostes could be the subject if we are the enemy, but could also now be the accusative with we as subject. I also note that prima luce go together. All right. So when the shout had subsided, when the shouting had subsided, we attacked the enemy at dawn. All right, so clamor sublato is that ablative absolute. When the shouting when the shouting had subsided, we attacked, petivimus, we attacked the enemy at dawn. All right, I'll do the next one as well. Eodem quad tempora, fortes viri prolium in eant, et multi perire incipiunt. All right, so noting a couple things as I go. So one, these go together. Remember, eodem is that funky form where we get the form before the dem. All right, so eo is the ablative that agrees with tempora. Fortes and viri agree. All right, both nominative. Prolium looks like it's the object. There's my verb. All right, that verb conjugation is going to be a break. So I'm going to deal with everything to the left of that first, and then separate clause to the right, where it looks like I have a nominative, an infinitive, and a verb for that infinitive to go with. So, and at the same time, the and is the qua. And at the same time, the brave men, all right, began the battle, took up the battle in eant prolium, and many began to die, multi incipiunt per ire. All right, so at the same time, the brave men took up the battle, and many of the men began to die. All right, and now we'll leave the rest for you. Here is the writing, and we're just translating things into Latin, the English into Latin. All right, so scared by the shouts, the boys ran into the forest. All right, so scared is going to agree with the boys. Who's scared? The boys are scared. All right, so teriti clam. Oh, forgot the I there. Clamoribus, scared by the shouts. Pueri in soam cecorerunt. All right. So nominative plural to agree with pueri. Ablative clamoribus, going with teriti. So scared by the shouts, the boys, cecorerunt, perfect, into the forest, an accusative because of that into / the motion. And I will leave the rest for you. All right, so that is it for this week. Please email me if you have any questions. Thanks.